Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Cipher mining. It is time for another update, and on this chart we are tracking a couple of scenarios. So we have the white interpretation where an impulse could technically work out, where we would be now in a third wave to the upside. Although, to be honest, as I mentioned even in the previous video, this is a far-fetched in terms of an actual scenario, and while it can work out, I'm not declining the possibility of such a structure to be formed. It is not necessarily the prettiest structure that has formed, especially within this movement to the upside. Now, with that said, we also have the alternative interpretation, which relies, even in the bullish scenario, on a larger leading diagonal to be formed to the upside, still a 5-wave structure, but the internal subwaves of this movement would be expected to be formed of ABC movements to the upside, where, realistically this could work out as an initial wave A. We could have here a wave B and then a wave C to complete a larger wave 1, an ABC structure in a wave 2, possibly we could even allow something like a WXY probably, and then a larger wave 3 to the upside that would be expected to also form an ABC movement. Now, in a realistic expectation of this chart, we need to be aware that this could in the end form a larger ABC movement itself, in which case, after completing here internally a 5-wave structure to the upside, we do have a complete pattern in terms of a correction. Now, internally within this structure, in the orange interpretation, the wave A could be complete at any point, even now, because I could very easily, in fact, consider this to be an A wave up, a B wave down, and then a C wave to the upside to complete it. In that case, we have the larger wave B correction expected to get into the area of support between the $9.4 all the way down to the $3.3 level. And then in the impulse interpretation of this structure, I am tracking here a double 1-2-1-2 setup and a third wave that has formed a more significant top, and then we are looking here at a wave 4 correction to be followed by a fifth wave to complete an even larger wave 3. This wave 3 would be completed by another high in a fifth wave, and then we would expect a fourth and a fifth, after which we could technically have a larger ABC structure complete. In the wave C interpretation, we would ideally follow the path of the white structure until we complete this larger wave 3. But for this scenario to work out reliably, we still need to hold here the area of support for the wave 4 correction I have provided you in the previous video, between the $17.1 level all the way down to the $10.9 level at the 50% retracement. And then on an even shorter time frame, we have been tracking a couple of scenarios, basically, a couple of ideas, where we were considering a possible bottom within this structure, although even in the previous video we were looking at this movement to the downside as a likely 5-wave structure, which was suggesting to us that we should highly expect another low to be formed within another 5-wave move to the downside. We were tracking this ABC movement in the yellow interpretation. We had here a resistance area to determine if this structure should really be considered to actually fail, that it should not necessarily build here an additional wave C, where we would have needed a break above the 78.6% retracement at the $22.1 level for such a signal. Now, we were also looking internally for a potential 5-wave structure to the upside, and while it can maybe work out as a 5-wave move that could have formed in this area, it probably works much better, to be honest, as an ABC movement itself, in which case, we basically have a wave B complete here in yellow, and we don't really need this interpretation in white. And while we haven't necessarily completely invalidated a direct uptrend in a fifth wave to have already started, we did push within this correction, even if it is so far only a 3-wave structure, we did push quite deep. We have basically broken here the area of support, we have broken below the 78.6% retracement in a sustained manner, and I don't necessarily expect this structure to manage continuing in this trend in the larger fifth wave in the white interpretation. While technically we need a break below the previous low, the $13.1 level, around that area anyway, for a signal for a complete invalidation of this potential 1-2 setup. It is a very unlikely interpretation for it to still work out, especially as we seem to already have a full movement within this correction to the upside. Now in this wave C, we are as always looking for a 5-wave structure to the downside, in which case I'm tracking here a wave 1, 2, 3 and 4 complete. I'm looking here for the 5th wave to unfold, and we are looking here at an ending diagonal within this wave C. We can even look here at the extension within the 3rd wave that has formed if we manage to get here to an ideal target, and clearly we even surpassed the 161.8% extension of the wave 1. If we want, we can even look here internally for the resistance levels for a wave 4 correction, and we can notice that we have broken above the 50% retracement, but for a wave 4 correction within an ending diagonal, within a diagonal structure overall, we are allowing the retracement to go as high as the 61.8% retracement, meaning that we didn't manage to get here a break that would signify a more substantial bottom to already be in place. Now, as I was saying, it is still technically possible. It is actually even possible for me to count here a 1, 2, 3, yeah, something like this, a 4th and a 5th. This structure could be a 5-wave move to the upside, but we have broken here below the area of support that would be defined for such a 1-2 setup, again signifying that this structure should be rather expected to form another low. And while we could form here a significant bottom in this next push to the downside, we have possibly forming even another low within this wave 4 in white. We don't absolutely need to have a reset of the correction. It is also very much possible for this structure to extend even further, where realistically this could be a 1, 2, an A, B, C movement in a wave 3, and then a 4th and a 5th to extend basically this wave C even further. Now, if we are, however, to look for ideal targets for this wave C, we can even have a look at that, because it would be the 100% extension of the wave A, and that would be at around the $10.9 level, very much in confluence here with the 50% retracement. Although indeed, if we only form here a 5th wave, I would rather expect to form a bottom much earlier than before we would get here to the 50% retracement, probably something like the 78.6% retracement. Possibly if we actually had some additional structural support, we could have had a look at that, but yeah, besides this level there isn't much else providing support in terms of structure, but in terms of extension and mathematical retracements, yes, we should be prepared to form a bottom if this really is a 5th wave in such an area. If we get an extension within the wave 3, I would be prepared for a retracement even deeper in the 5th wave afterwards, yeah, likely into the 50% retracement before finding a more significant bottom. Although I want to make it very clear, I'm not assuming that we are going to form another low. We are still within the area of support at this point, but we only have a 3-wave move to the upside. We don't have any signal that this structure should actually continue in an uptrend. So for now, we still need to be patient. I do still prefer overall the white interpretation that would allow here to form a 5th wave, but I would also prefer internally within this structure, this internal correction, the yellow scenario over having a bottom already in place. Yeah, could still form a triangle, could still form a direct 5th wave from this area, but I prefer the yellow scenario. And for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.